I know it's a different day and a totally different time, but I had to postpone On the Wall with Theresa on Wednesday due to travel. But we are here live, front and center. So let's get into it. Welcome to On the Wall with Theresa. I am your host, Theresa Shawn McIntosh. Last week we talked about making room for the new. And then on the weekend word last weekend, I mentioned James chapter 4 and verse 17. And the more I thought about these two messages together, the more I realized they belong in the same conversation. So let's talk about it. What happens after you make room? We say, make room for this, make room for that. Oh, I have to do this or that. But what happens after you make room? God can show us something and still leave the response up to us. He can show us we need to make room, but we have to do something, right? So if we go back to Isaiah 43 and 19, where it says, Behold, which we talked about, it's like he's saying, look at this, pay attention. Hey, wake up. Can you see what I'm doing? So but seeing is not the same as us responding. Yeah, we may have made room and we may be able to see something, but what do we do? How do we respond? Okay. God can reveal so many things to us. He can show us things and we can see it. But us seeing those things, like I said, is not the same as responding to what we see. He can reveal opportunities, right? God can reveal new ideas, witty inventions. He can give us wisdom. He can give us confirmation. He can even put something on your heart. But that revelation of Him giving us and showing us all those things does not remove our responsibility in it. What God reveals requires a response, hands down. So, what is it that we already know? What has He shown us? So, we made room and He's shown us things. What is it that we already know? Not what do we wish we knew, not what are we waiting for God to tell us, but what is it that we already know? There are a few things that we may already know because, we're not stupid. So we know a few things, right? We may know what decisions we need to make. We may know the tough conversations that we need to have, even though we avoid them. We know we need to have them, right? We also may know the next step we may need to take or the habits we need to change. We're not dumb people. We know what we need to do, right? What opportunity do you need to pursue? It may look totally different than what you're looking at now, but we may know that this is an opportunity I may need to pursue. And we're just teeter tottering, sitting and waiting. But we know we need to take that step. Or what's the thing that we know we need to stop doing? You know you need to stop creeping. You may know you need to stop turning that bottle up as much as you do. But knowing and doing are what? Two totally different things. And what might be the thing you need to finally start doing? You know it's something you're supposed to be doing, and you're just sitting on it. It could change your life or somebody else's life, but you're doing nothing about it. Sometimes the challenge we have, it isn't a lack of information. Like we know what to do. So if you know what to do, you don't lack the information, you lack implementation. Myself included. It's some things I know I have to do or need to do or should have done that I haven't implemented. So I'm not just talking about you. We're in this thing on this wall together. So, what happens when knowing becomes responsibility? This is where I see James 4 and 17 becoming a little more personal. James doesn't say merely that knowing is important. He's saying there is something significant about what we do with what we know. There is something significant about what we do with what we know. So, what responsibility comes with the revelation that we have? If God has shown you something or told you something, what are you going to do with it? If you know better, What will you do differently? We're quick to say, if you know better, you should do better. But if you know better, what will you do differently? And also, if you know the next step, will you take it? Hmm. Sometimes we get delayed. We know what to do. Things happen. We're distracted. Life happens, throws curveballs. We all know what's going on. And sometimes we make excuses. But I don't want you to confuse delay with preparation. Like you sitting back waiting on this and waiting on that. No, no, no. It's not the same thing. There is legitimate preparation. Don't get me wrong. We do have to prepare. But there can also be a tendency to remain in a preparation mode because action feels so uncomfortable. Sometimes we keep researching. I'm guilty. Sometimes we keep planning. I'm guilty. We keep praying. Y'all know I be praying. And then we keep waiting, asking for confirmation. And eventually we have to ask ourselves, am I preparing or am I postponing or procrastinating? We have to be honest with ourselves, dear hearts. Are we really preparing or are we just postponing and procrastinating? There is a cost to that. We think, oh, I'll get to it, or I still got to plan. Well, just let me pray a little while longer. Listen, there is a cost to knowing and not acting. And I don't know about y'all, I'm just going to talk about me. I paid some hefty prices for not acting on some things when I should have acted, when I knew better and I didn't do better, or I did not act differently or act upon what I knew. So let's talk about the cost of not acting on what we know to do or what we've made room for. Let's see. Unmade decisions create what? Stagnation. When you haven't made a decision, you're just sitting still. And we know anything that stagnates, like stagnant water, it starts to what? Put it in the comments. It starts to stink. Do you want to be stinking? I don't want to be stinking. Let's keep going. Unused gifts remain undeveloped. If we've been given gifts, God has gifted us with these things, and He says our gifts will make room for us. But if we don't use those gifts, they remain undeveloped. Unanswered opportunities, they pass. That window of opportunity, that door that someone has opened for you and given you grace and favor for, it is not going to remain open forever, indefinitely. You have to act upon those opportunities. And here's another one. Unaddressed issues, they grow. Oh, we love to put stuff under the rug or say, I don't want to deal with that right now. But if you don't deal with that issue, it's just going to sit back and grow and grow and grow. You don't want that. You have to address the issues that are facing you. You have to address what is coming at you. You cannot be passive and allow things to just be sitting around, flying all across your face and your head, and you not stand up and act and address those issues. Sometimes the greatest frustration isn't what we don't know what isn't that we don't know what to do. We know what to do. But the greatest frustration, it pretty much comes when we don't act on it. It just I don't understand. We just sit back and get frustrated and mad. And how can we expect change if we're not willing to do what we know to do? All right, I'm gonna stop harping on that. And even though we need to act on it, that action, it doesn't have to be big. Take the pressure off yourself. It doesn't have to be major. It doesn't have to be so just a gigantic and enormous, but we do have to act. The next step doesn't have to change your entire life in the moment on today. There just has to be a next step. Okay. It may simply be one phone call. You got a phone call, you need to make that one. Yeah, that's the one you thinking about it. That one phone call, you need to make that could shift the whole trajectory of everything you're dealing with. And you've been procrastinating and postponing making that call. Think about that one phone call or that one application you may need to fill out. How can you get the opportunity or the favor or the grace you need if you don't fill out what? The application. One conversation. One conversation with the right person can be pivotal to your life. One decision, one boundary, okay? Y'all know y'all need to set up some boundaries. It's not easy, but it can change your life. One boundary, let's see, one decision, one beginning. You could start something new that can reshape everything for you, your children, your family, for your organization, your business, your church, just starting something new. Let's put it like this. Small intentional actions can create significant directional change. I'm going to say that again, and I want you to get it. Small intentional actions can create significant directional change. What is your next right step? So, what do I know? Be honest. Ask yourself, what do I know? What have I been not overlooking? Let's see. What do I know? And then, what have I been avoiding? Let's say it that way. Don't judge yourself, just identify it. Identify what it is you know, being honest with yourself, and then without being judgmental of yourself, identify the thing that you have been avoiding. After that, what is my next right step? Make it specific, be very specific. One thing that I've noticed that a lot of people do, we just lie to ourselves. We need to be honest with ourselves and be truthful with our own selves, and then be specific about the next thing we need to do. No judgment, no shame, just be specific. Now, once you figure that out, when will I take it? When will you take that next right step? And give that intention, that next step you want to take, give that intention a date. Put a date down. I know what I need to do, right? I know what I've been avoiding. I know what the next right step is. And on this date, whichever date you put, preferably in the near future, I'm going to take that next step. You have to go from making room to moving forward. Let me get some water, y'all. It's hot where I am, and I'm thirsty. Okay, we have to go from making room to moving forward. So, piggybacking again off of last week's message, making room wasn't the destination, not just to make room. That was really preparation for movement. So, you have to prepare, right? And now that you've made room, do not stand in the doorway wondering whether you're supposed to walk through the door. You've made room, you figured out what's what, you know what you need to do, and then you just standing there. Really? Don't do that. Sometimes the new thing requires more than an open space. It requires an open willingness to move. You made the room. You did everything you had to do. You identified this. You said I'm gonna do this on this date. And then you just stand there. So I want to ask you this in closing. Now that you've done the things, what will you do? Isaiah says, behold. He's saying, see it, recognize it, pay attention. And then James said, do it. So you see how last week's on the wall and the weekend word from last week, they went together. One said, hey, behold, see it, pay attention. And the other saying, okay, now you see it, do it, respond, act, move. So the question this week becomes, you ready? Drum roll, please. What will you do with what God has shown you? What will you do with what He has shown you? Real simple. Not next month, not when everything is perfect, not when you have every answer. What is the next intentional thing that you can do? I'm trying to get us to where we're not postponing and procrastinating and standing still. There has to be a continual thought. This is a process. We are on a journey to an intentional state of being. So we have to figure out what is the next intentional thing that you can do. So, I always have a challenge because I challenge myself, and I'm going to do the same thing right here on the wall with you guys. I want you to do something. It's real easy though. Write down what you know. So you could say, I know, and draw a line and a period. You know how we in school and we have to, that's it, fill in the blank. Like at school, we're going to fill in the blank. So if we fill in the blank with this closing challenge, write down, I know blank. Okay. Then the next one, I need to blank. And lastly, I will do it by blank date. So you're writing down what you know, you're writing down what you need to do, and then you're going to write down when you're going to do it by. You're going to give it a date. You're going to give it some purpose. You're going to put some intention behind what you know and what you need to do. Okay? Then, real simple, like Nike, just do it. Let's see. If I had a declaration, because y'all know I ain't too big on affirmations, I like to declare and decree a thing so I can see what I've said. That's the way I view that. I guess my declaration today would be, and I'm going to say it like this: I declare that you don't need to know everything to do something. You don't need the entire plan to take the next step. And you don't need another confirmation to obey what you already know. Make room, recognize what God is doing, and then be intentional about what you do with it. I'm gonna let that sit right there. Yep. I really appreciate you guys taking our time on a different day, different time, to hang out with me on the wall. I appreciate it. I don't take it lightly. Oh, and I also want to encourage you, don't forget to pre-order your signed copy of my new book, Just Be, The Journey to an Intentional State of Being, and subscribe to my email list at teresamcintosh.com. I think that's rolling on the bottom right now. teresamcintosh.com is where you can do those two things, get your signed copy and your freebies that come along with that signed copy. I've been very intentional about those things, and for those of you who do pre-order, you will see what I mean. Um, yeah. And subscribe to the email list, teresamcintosh.com. Until next time, preferably on the Wednesday at 12 noon, I need you to remember one thing. No matter what you do, until the next time we see each other here on the wall, just be intentional. Peace and blessings.